The Sims 4 is getting a huge update on Tuesday, May 12th. And when I tell you my jaw dropped when I saw what's coming in this update, I'm not being dramatic. I was literally scrolling on my phone and I gasped. I am going to go through the entire laundry list of 150 bug fixes, plus cover all the new features and items that we are getting in this update. So if you want to know what's coming in this update, but you don't necessarily want to read through the entire laundry list, I don't blame you. I am here to cover everything for you, so you can just play this video in the background while you do whatever it is that you need to do. So let's get into it. All right, you guys, so we are going to do this like I normally do these videos. I am literally just going to rapid fire read all of the updates that are listed here, including the intro with any important information that they might have mentioned at the beginning, and then I will give my thoughts at the end. So if you want to follow along and see what's on the screen, you absolutely can. If you just want to listen to me rattle off all the updates, that's fine too. You do you. So this laundry list was posted literally the day that I'm recording this, May 5th. So a week before the update. I don't know why the start of this laundry list feels like they're trying to win us over in a sense. But they're starting off by saying that over the years, The Sims 4 has grown with an incredible range of content and experiences. And then they like kind of market the game and then say, over the next few months, our focus is on making that content even better by delivering improvements to the gameplay that matter most to Simmers. They mentioned that today's laundry list details just some of the 150 fixes and new features coming in the base game update on May 12th, including improvements for some of your highest requested asks. This means new optimizations for infants, toddlers, sleep, and general sim autonomy, plus fixes for top voted community issues. These areas of improvement have been directly informed by top EA forums issues, with additional feedback collected from Discord and Reddit. We're also increasing the frequency of automatically generated backup saves, adding a new infant playmat, bringing a new layering feature in Create a Sim, gasp. That is the part that made me gasp, yes. And continuing to expand on the technical info we provide to modders and CCers to support their work. If you're hungry for even more, we'll be hosting a special dev Q&A, which this is not going to be really relevant to anybody who's watching this video because it would have passed already. I guess maybe you could watch it retroactively or whatever the word is. Then it says, the fun doesn't stop there. In the months ahead, we'll continue shipping more fixes, delivering new free content, and rolling out collaborations and partnerships we can't wait to share with you. Again, feels a little bit markety. And that's further reinforced by them literally saying, ensuring you have a positive Sims experience is critical to us. If you're experiencing crashes or other game-stopping issues, please read our post here, and thank you for your feedback as we continue to invest and improve The Sims 4. That word right there, keyword invest, I think was very intentional because there's been a lot of speculation about the EA buyout and what's going to happen to The Sims because of it. And I think them saying invest is a very subtle way for them to try and give us a hint that The Sims 4 is not going anywhere, I guess. But I could be just really reading into that. I don't know. All right, so the fixes for the most voted issues. Number 1, black photos. Implemented 6 fixes addressing different causes of texture loss along with additional QV testing. I don't know if that was supposed to say QC testing. Off to a great start. QV testing on paintings and photos to catch previously unreported cases. At the time of writing, all known black photo bugs have been resolved. We'll continue to monitor and address any new reports. This is like the black photo saga. I don't know how many times they have fixed black photos. So, you know, fingers crossed, but don't have high hopes. Number 2, Sims will no longer keep putting down infants before picking them back up. Sims will no longer receive the secret witness sentiment when a married or engaged Sim is witnessed woohooing with their partner by another Sim. Number 4, can't place item, fixed in both new and old saves. Number 5, the last most voted issue, Sims could get stuck with scandal. This is now fixed for new cases and existing affected saves will have the lingering VFX cleared. I think VFX is virtual effect, but I'm not sure. Use Google, everybody. And then we move on to new base layer feature. We're adding a new category to Create a Sim called base layers, which will let simmers express themselves by broadening their fashion choices, providing covered options, and improving gender expression with the layerable binder. There will be 8 base layer options for adults, 4 base layer options for children, and 2 base layer options for toddlers, all in a variety of colors, with 380 new base layer variants, including all swatches that can be layered. This gives players exponential new outfit combinations using any top or full body CAS assets. I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna tell you my thoughts. I'm gonna come back to that. Next, we have the infant and toddler improvements and fixes. This update represents a significant investment into improving infants and toddlers. Again, with the word investment. Based on top EA Forums issues and additional feedback from Discord and Reddit. After extensive playtesting, we're excited to share them with you. Yeah, okay, extensive playtesting. You know what? You know what? New infant playmat. Sims prefer placing infants on playmats instead of the floor, making care feel more natural. The typos in these really kill me. Making care feel more natural that all players can now enjoy. New toggle in the options menu to disable caregiver autonomy for infants. When enabled, all care is manual, though Sims will still socialize and you can use check infant. Neglect can lead to social services intervention. And then there's a screenshot of that in the settings. Next, we have new infant thought bubble for loud noises. Infants can now react to loud noises with a buff and thought bubble, plus a one-time tutorial explaining why they wake, helping players address the cause instead of repeated pickups. Additional hover tip improvements, such as prefers bottle feeding interactions to clarify that choosing a preference restricts autonomous feeding to that method only, and stand-up milestone where infants needed specific nearby objects to pull themselves up. I'm taking this as it's going to show you a little tooltip whenever an infant has a feeding preference, and also when they get the stand-up milestone, or to get the stand-up milestone, you're gonna get a tooltip that tells you if there's specific objects needed nearby, I guess. Next, we have one major bullet point for infant tuning based on player feedback, and they list a couple different examples on what this looks like. So Sims will now clean up diapers left on the floor after changing an infant or newborn, as long as the trash can is nearby. Changing an infant's diaper at the changing table takes about a third less time than it used to. The infant hunger need will now decrease slightly more slowly. We received light feedback on this, and we're hoping this slight tweak will prove the right balance for player realism and fun. Keyword light feedback. I don't know. Feeding an infant will now take about 15 minutes, sim time, which is half the time it previously took. Infant care interactions, give bottle, change diaper, etc. should now appear on the first pie menu when an infant's needs are low for your ease of access. Oh my god, that is major. Infant milestones tied to tummy time now unlock twice as fast, addressing feedback that progression felt too slow, especially on shorter lifespans. With reasonable attention, most milestones can now be achieved by around day 3. I'll come back to that. And then we have another major bullet point that says 25 plus bug fixes for top voted infant and toddler issues, including frequent infant pickups and put downs, caregiver conflicts, and Sims freezing during care were major frustrations. This update includes multiple interconnected fixes to address these issues, all available in the base game. Infant and toddler needs will no longer decrease when the active Sim and the player is on another lot away from them. We hope that this change will make caregiving for infants and toddlers more enjoyable. Toddler Sims will no longer be hungry but would remain idle despite having food. I don't understand that. Oh, they're not going to do that anymore. We received feedback that reading to toddlers wasn't working well, and we've addressed a few bugs related to this. Those being, toddlers are now able to successfully run the ask to read book interaction on a teen or older Sim. The be read to by interaction on toddler books should now function when selected by an infant. We fixed a code exception that could cause Sims to reset when an adult Sim would click on a book and choose to read to children. And then there's 2 left here for the 25 plus bug fixes bullet point. Infant milestones are no longer disappearing or being reset when that infant's household is visited while playing another household. This is fixed in old saves as well as new ones. We'd love to see a fix in old saves and new saves. Infants are now able to act on their unlocked milestone developmental progress when they are not at their residential lot. This fix is retroactive in old saves where the bug had previously been occurring. Incredible. And then we have a section on base game, autonomy, and sleeping fixes. We didn't stop with the infants and toddlers. I cannot with this like enthusiasm that they have throughout this post. It's too much. It's giving try hard. I don't know. Improving overall autonomy is a key player concern. Sims now dance far less, about once per day, and also no longer drink water autonomously, making behavior more predictable and less disruptive. Plus, additional bug fixes. Oh my god, no longer drinking water autonomously. Oh my god, finally. Okay, and then they have another 3 things listed here. We fixed an issue that was causing NPCs to enter a house to drink water. Unfortunately, this fix was unable to be retroactive for saves in which this gameplay was already occurring. Fix an issue where children could be taken away despite not being neglected. New checks ensure a child must be actively failing F before this occurs. This fix is retroactive, but previously removed children cannot be restored. Why does that make me laugh? Sims with a jealous trait will no longer get upset when their partner interacts with their own children. Oh my god. Okay. And then it says sleeping autonomy has been improved following community feedback, addressing a mix of bugs and quality of life issues to make sleep behavior more reliable. And then we just kind of go into a section that says base game. Sims woken by a nearby TV or radio will now turn the device off and return to sleep. This keeps the intended wake up behavior while making the cause clear and reducing repeated interruptions. And then we have a screenshot of that happening. Very random, but cool, I guess. We've added a hover tip to the nap interaction to clarify that this interaction is meant to be shorter with a boost to energy, rather than an interaction that fills the need fully. Sims should not stay in the nap interaction until their energy is full, but we wanted to help clarify the expected behavior. Is that not the definition of a nap? Why did we need a hover tip for that? I don't, you know what? If you needed it, you needed it, and I'm not gonna judge. Fix an issue where exhausted Sims could get into bed but still collapse from fatigue. Sims who fall asleep in bed will now remain there instead of getting up and passing out. There were callouts in the Sleeping EA forum thread. There's a Sleeping EA forums thread? Anyways, where Sims weren't sharing a bed with another Sim. We believe our other fixes have addressed this issue, though as a note, Sims will only sleep in the same bed when their relationship is high enough. There was an issue where Sims in a romantic relationship were getting out of bed when told to sleep simultaneously. We added an interaction called Sleep and Cuddle, which will now allow this gameplay to function properly. Sleep and cuddle? That sounds so cutie. Canceling cuddle on a sleeping Sim will no longer wake both Sims or interrupt their sleep. If the interaction is canceled after one Sim has joined another already in bed, both will remain in bed. Canceling cuddle before either Sim is in bed will still result in both Sims getting up as intended. The 2 cuddling ones were love struck, and now we have some royalty and legacy fixes. Among other fixes, royalty and legacy is getting a polishing pass too. Alongside the 2 top community reported issues addressed in the list above, you can also expect fixes for issues related to poor leadership sentiment being added to the dynasty head, offspring of pre-made dynasties not being added to a dynasty, and pre-patch babies being born as a secret. We also made various updates to the Grand Ball event not functioning properly. You can expect to read more about these and other fixes on May 12th in the full list of patch notes. Sims will now arrive wearing the selected dress code to a Grand Ball event, in line with the functionality for funerals. As a note, any remaining oddities are due to tagging and would need to be reported and fixed individually. We did a pass and felt that outfits look good with all packs while selecting more common combination. Okay. The mask option is no longer disabled after entering Create a Sim to change the host outfit for a Grand Ball. We fixed the mask icon in the UI for hosting a Grand Ball event. Okay. I don't have royalty and legacy, so that means nothing to me. Base game general fixes. Alongside major improvements to infants' autonomy and sleep, thank you for repeating yourself, this update will address a wide range of highly voted community issues across the base game and packs. Key fixes include resolving inventory bugs with photos, improving family tree accuracy, progress against preventing incorrect relationship changes in Create a Sim, and reverting the default gallery sorting back to newest. Across packs and systems, we fixed gameplay blockers, UI issues, and inconsistencies. Highlights include gallery improvements like fewer upload timeouts and better sorting, fixes for disappearing animals and aging bugs, and improved event trait and interaction behavior. We've also made broad tagging, sorting, and visual updates in Create a Sim and build mode to improve organization and consistency. And that is all for the actual laundry list. And now I'm going to go back through and just give my thoughts a little bit because I've got some feelings, you know? I think it's interesting overall that they did this laundry list very differently than the, I think, last 3 laundry lists, I want to say. I will admit I did not read the last laundry list. So I don't know if they did it this way in the last laundry list, but at least the first like 2 laundry lists laid out literally like every single fix. So it's interesting to me that they're now going into like a more generic laundry list format. To me, all that means is they're trying to cover their butts so that they don't make empty promises. Since this gets posted a week before, I'm assuming there has been scenarios where they've listed an update and then it doesn't go into the actual update. That's an assumption, kind of like more of a safety net now. And secondly, I would say they probably don't want people digging in so hard into these laundry lists before the update comes out. For whatever reason, I do not know. I don't have an explanation for that. I guess they just don't want the extra attention on it. I don't know. It could also be to mediate expectations, similar to not wanting to promise something that doesn't make it into the update. Maybe they don't want to get people's hopes up about fixes and what they could possibly mean for the game until they're actually in the game. Now let's talk about the new base layer feature, because I have some thoughts. Okay, first of all, when I first saw this, I got so excited. I was looking at the video that they posted that had this little like teaser trailer talking about all the stuff that they were going to, or all the major things that they were going to include in this update. Some of the verbiage from this laundry list is literally verbally said in this trailer video. So I was very excited to see this. But after reading this, I'm a little bit less excited. I think it's very misleading using the terminology or the phrasing with 380 plus new base layer variants. What does that mean exactly? I'm taking that as combinations that you can create with the new base layer options, not necessarily 380 unique base layer elements. How are they going to say there's going to be 8 base layer options for adults? That to me means there's going to be 8 pieces that you can use as a base layer. I'm assuming that means tops, or it's a mix of 8 base layer tops and jackets. I was looking in the comments of people posting under that teaser trailer from The Sims. A lot of people were asking and hoping that the base layer option is going to work for jackets. I don't have high hopes for that. And it doesn't look like they're showing that in any capacity in the screenshots. That to me is almost giving me certainty that they're not going to be jackets. I think jackets would require a lot more work and development. And it's probably easier for them to do things like a tank top, a long sleeve. And clearly that is the only things that we are seeing in this screenshot. It's nice that this is part of a free update and it's going to be base game. However, 8 base layer options to me is nothing compared to the amount of clothing that we have in The Sims. Maybe it's just a starting point. If I'm being honest, this feels like a little free crumb. And then they're going to release like a marketplace like base layer combo or pack or whatever they're calling it. Or they're going to release a base layer kit or something that has like a ton more options. I don't know. It's nice that we're going to get at least 8 options, and it's nice that it's going to be an option now as part of the base game. The part that I think is really cool is the fact that they are adding a layerable binder. That's very cool. Love to see it. I think it was also probably a very strategic choice to add in because of all the backlash with the EA buyout and people being concerned that like the game is going to lose a lot of diversity and inclusivity. But hey, maybe I'm just being a skeptic. Okay, maybe I'm just being a little cup half empty girly right now. But you can tell me what you think in the comments. The infant and toddler improvements. Okay, so this I'm pumped about. I'm very excited about anything that attempts to fix infants. Even if it breaks them more, I'm like, nothing is gonna make it worse than what it already was. So any attempt at fixing them, I'm like, thank you. Maybe hopefully one day we will get to a good place with infants. Because despite all the bugs and the issues, infants are one of my favorite life stages. It's just unfortunate that they're so buggy to play with. The scary part to me about this is that they're saying Sims prefer placing infants on playmats instead of the floor. Yes, obviously we want our Sims to not put infants on the floor at all costs. But are you telling me that now the alternative to that is that they're going to be like obsessively putting them on playmats? I want a variety. I want it to make sense. Like, if you're near a crib, put it in the crib. This seems very interesting. Okay, the new toggle in the options menu to disable caregiver autonomy for infants. When enabled, all care is manual. Are you sure? Are you sure, Sims team, that not everybody and their mother, pun not intended, is going to try and care for the infant in the household? I don't know. I don't know. And like, is this gonna be one of those things where it's like all or nothing, where it's like if it's disabled, then like the infant's just gonna die because like no Sims are gonna acknowledge its presence? You know what I mean? Like, I hope it doesn't go like 0 to 100 or 100 to 0, I should say. But if this works, then this could potentially provide players with a lot more control when it comes to infants, and hopefully a lot less headaches. I will say one thing I noticed here, and I read this, I'm like 90% sure, maybe it was for a different milestone and it was just a similar situation, but I'm like 90% sure that in a previous laundry list, they mentioned this tooltip already, where they were going to be more specific about the stand-up milestone and what was required to like accomplish it. That it is the exact same thing that they're saying here that they already did, but I'm almost tempted to look it up and see if I'm right. Okay, you guys, I was tempted, and so I did. I looked it up. The issue that I'm talking about is from the laundry list on January 6th, or for the update in January, and they addressed an issue related to the pull to stand, which I don't know if it's the exact same as the stand up to milestone, but in this update, they mentioned that it's never indicated to the player when infants need to be near certain objects to pull themselves up for the first time. But to address the concerns, they added a grayed out interaction and a hover tip that directs the player to place the infant in the crib, and then when in the crib, the infant can pull themselves up to stand. So I don't know if this is exactly the same thing. Some of these infant updates I also am a little bit wary of, because I feel like a lot of these updates are related to making taking care of infants easier, in the sense of like, let's reduce time, let's have their needs decrease differently. I can't speak for the entire player base, but I feel like that is not the main concern when it comes to infants. I feel like you're just making it easier to play with something that's already very buggy. Like, we just want it to not be buggy. We don't necessarily, I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe they are taking this directly from other players, word for word, and they're not interpreting it or whatever. But you guys can let me know in the comments how you feel about infants. But I personally do not want anything with infants to get easier in the sense of time or needs. I don't really care for any of these sleeping fixes. Some of these I can see how they are very helpful. And those are pretty much all my thoughts. You guys, please tell me what you think in the comments. I am very concerned about how many mods this is going to break. If you need help fixing your mods, finding broken mods, I do have a video up on this. I will link it somewhere in the screen. Let me know if you have any video suggestion ideas, guides, tips, things that you want me to cover, and I will cover them. As always, I will see you in the next video. If nobody's told you yet today, I am proud of you. You're doing a great job. Please don't be so hard on yourself. I know you are. I see it. Ah, and the camera zoomed. I'm dead. I'm dead. The camera said, listen, you need to hear this. Okay? Be nice to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself grace. Get yourself a treat because I said so. That's your excuse. That's your reason. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.